A Green Eco-Conscious Business Guide. Chapter 1. Environmental Liability Info. Corporate Environmental Management/Corporate Compliance. The latest buzz terms in corporate circles are environmental liability, environmental management, and corporate compliance, which mean you had better cover your butt on the environment or you could lose everything. Whereas before the environment was a low priority or no priority concern that nobody except for a few fringe liberals gave a damn about, nowadays with all the publicity regarding dumping sites that have been linked to toxic diseases, it's a hot topic and corporations are scrambling to, at the very least, obey the law, but more so put forth the perception that they are a socially conscious company very much against pollution and for making the environment better for future generations. There are many local, state, and federal laws regarding the environment and safety and health in general. Many companies hire either a person to do this full-time or set up an entire department dedicated to environmental management. We'd like to think that most of these companies act to limit their harmful effects on the environment out of a sense of corporate responsibility from the goodness of their hearts, but they're really just doing what they have to in order to legally cover their butts. Environmental laws in general have defined several kinds of offenses: causing pollution, failing to report it, failing to comply with rules and laws, failing to clean up pollution caused by the company, lying about illegal activities. Depending on the severity of the offense and the willful intent involved, corporations and their managers could be fined and even sent to jail. There's a definite line between innocent negligence and willful intent. If a corporate officer is acting in good faith trying to keep the environment clean and accidentally pollutes the environment, that will be grounds for a fine, not criminal action. But if he or she is deliberately breaking the law by doing something illegal to make his life easier, that's grounds for a criminal charge. Environmental management is a full department in a large corporation. You run it just like you run any successful department. Develop an environmental mission statement. Have a proactive philosophy as opposed to just reacting when disaster hits. Put protocols in place to prevent pollution. After the big Valdez oil spill, they put a big mission statement in place called the Valdez Principles, but it seems kind of fake after the fact. If you're a smart business owner, you won't wait until a disaster hits. You will either check it out now on your own if you're a small business or hire an environmental dude to start up an environmental management office. The major tenets of any environmental vision are as follows. Protect the planet. Replace whatever natural resources you use or at least clean up the area. Dispose of wastes properly. Treat it before disposal. Use energy wisely. Try to use renewable sources like solar when possible. Keep a safe working environment. Produce environmentally safe products. Take responsibility for any environmental damages caused by the company. Be honest to the public in revealing company operations and disclosing hazards. Have an environmental management system in place. Take a look at recycling some waste materials. Appoint a manager to educate the workers about it and develop legal ways to dispose of toxic waste material. Get some environmental public relations in place. Prepare now for a possible disaster and simulate a cleanup. If you have some hazardous factories and equipment that could be hit by terrorists or material stolen and used in crime, get some security in place. Get insurance coverage for environmental risks. If you're a public company, you have to disclose environmental matters in your statements. Above all, don't make it look like you're doing things because you have to. Make it look like you're environmentally conscious because you really want to. Have the department conduct an environmental audit. Either hire a professional to do this or contract someone qualified to do the job. Use the audit as a guide to develop environmental protocols. Some tenets of an environmental audit are as follows. Examine all the paperwork for the company regarding environmental matters, including the specific relevant environmental laws. Review disposal laws, mostly sewage disposal and hazardous waste disposal. Take to employees about possible environmental hazards. Review the history of the site for past uses of dangerous chemicals and possible dangerous substances in the building construction like lead pipes or asbestos. Examine storage tanks for leakage. Consider new technology in this area. Get a lawyer to examine the company in terms of possible litigation. Train the staff to follow your environmental rules. Keep the awareness loop going. Some companies are now labeling some of their products as either green products or environmentally friendly products. Don't do it unless you have a real, legitimate reason why your products are so eco-friendly, preferably with scientific documentation. Get a lawyer to look over the laws about misleading advertising. Go to epa.gov and ftc.gov for info. Check state laws too. Implementing a corporate greening strategy for your company will probably give you a few brownie points for your company image, but it ain't exactly the kind of stuff that makes sales and gives you big contracts, so do it to stay legal and because you want to be a good company without a public relations debacle, and leave it at that. An environmental audit is an objective review of your company's operations, designed to analyze how well your company does in the context of current environmental legislation. Look through professional journals related to your field at an academic library. There are books about social responsibility in business at number 658.408 or HC110 at the library. Environmental books are at number 333 and maybe a few at number 363.700 or GE60 at the library. Books about pollution are at number 304.28 or GF75. Books about toxicology are at number 615.902 or RA770 RA1238 at the library. Try number 550-559 at the library for books about the earth sciences. The major eco-environmental reference books are Encyclopedia of Environmental Information Sources, galegroup.com, 800-877 Gale. Gale Environmental Sourcebook, galegroup.com, 800-877 Gale. The Environmental Sourcebook. The Green Encyclopedia. World Directory of Environmental Organizations. Carroll Pub. 1058 Thomas Jefferson St. Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20007. 800-336-4240. 202-333-8620. Environmental Executive Directory, List of corporations. Government institutes. 4. Research Place. Number 200. Rockville, Maryland 20850. Publishes Environmental Law Handbook, offers environmental courses for business nationwide. Some periodicals are Buzzworm, Environment, Environmental Trends, EPA Journal, Garbage, the Practical Journal for the Environment, National Wildlife, Recognition and Management of Pesticide Poisonings, World Watch, Ethical Consumers Info. Ethical consumerism is buying products and services that are made with minimal harm and/or exploitation of all living things. Ethical consumers watch what they buy to only buy things honorably made, not using child, exploitive, or slave labor, and made as naturally as possible. Fair trade products are products that guarantee the farmers a fair price regardless of the fluctuations in world markets. Some ethical consumers are activists who criticize companies on their ethical or unethical behavior. They do boycotts, get on the news, etc. actionaid.org.uk. blogher.com/ethical-consumer. comparegreenproducts.co.uk. copperwiki.org/index.php/ethical_consumer. dictionary.senseagent.com/ethical-consumer/n-n. ecopreneurist.com. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/ethical_consumer. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/ethical_consumerism. ethical.org.au. ethical-company-organisation.org. Ethical shopping information. ethicalconsumer.ca. ethicalconsumer.org, Ethical Consumer Research Association. ethicalsurvey.org, Survey on Privacy in Business to Consumer E-Commerce. ethiscore.org. ethiscore.org, Shopper's Guide from the magazine Ethical Consumer. Facebook.com/pages/ethical-consumer. CorporateCritic.org. FairJewelry.org. ft.com/ethicalbrands, is it ethical to buy shares in companies active in less democratic countries? Chapter 2. Environmental law websites. Environmental and Natural Resources Law Info. abanet.org/environ/home.html, ABBA Environmental Law Section. ecalex.org, a gateway to environmental law. eli.org, Environmental Law Institute. findlaw.com/01 topics/13 environmental/index.html. environmental-lawfirms.com. environmental-lawyers.com. environmentallawwnet.com. abanet.org/environ/home.html, ABBA Environmental Law Section. bna.com, 800-372-1033, environmental, legal, etc. katalaw.com/topics/environment.html. chinaenvironmentallaw.com. cleanwaterpartners.org. ecr.gov, U.S. Institute for Environmental Conflict Resolution. elaw.org, Environmental Law Alliance Worldwide. eli.org, Environmental Law Institute. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_law. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_law_and_policy_center. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_law_foundation, Britain. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_law_service, a Czech non-governmental organization of lawyers. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/international_environmental_law. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/New_Zealand_environmental_law. en.wikipedia.org/United_States_environmental_law. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/war_and_environmental_law. environmental-law.net. environmentallawfirm.net. epa.gov/epaams/laws.htm. epa.gov/lawsregs/laws/index.html. findlaw.com/01 topics/13 environmental. findlaw.com/01 topics/13 environmental/index.html, environmental law. govansT.com/pubs-catalog/envir.html, environmental books and software. greatriverslaw.org, Great Rivers Environmental Law Center, Missouri, St. Louis. hg.org/environ.html. irlaw.com, Denver environmental and real estate law firm. jurist.law.pitt.edu/sg_env.htm, environmental law guide from Jurist. law.cornell.edu/topics/environmental.html. law.du.edu/natural resources, natural resources and environmental law. law.du.edu/natural resources/weblinks. law.indiana.edu/law/intenvlaw.html, environmental law. law.clark.edu/department/law/profession.html. law.clark.edu/org/envtl. laywinv.com, Law Environmental Services, Inc., Indoor Air Quality Specialists. lawprofessors.typepad.com/environmental_law. lawwvianet.com, Environmental Law Net. lclark.edu/org/envtl, Lewis and Clark Law School, Environmental Law. nrcs.usda.gov, Natural Resources Conservation Service. Pa Brownfield's Environmental Law. Foxrothschild.com, Pennsylvania Environmental Law. SouthernEnvironment.org, Southern Environmental Law Center. topics.law.cornell.edu/wex/environmental_law. UK Environmental Law Association, join us. ukila.org, UK Environmental Law Association. vermontlaw.edu/elc/index.cfm, Vermont Law School Environmental Law Center. wcel.org, West Coast Environmental Law. westernlaw.org, Western Environmental Law Center. yale.edu/envirocenter. Corporate Environmental Management/Corporate Compliance websites. aec.msu.edu/ee, Environmental Economist. greenbiz.com, a comprehensive free information resource for large and small companies seeking to align environmental business practices with business success. envisioninc.ca, environmental remediation. 4sustainability.org/international/management-development.htm. aucgroup.com, environmental strategy, management strategy, benchmarking workshops. apc.com, proactive environmental management tools. bren.ucsb.edu/career/specialization/cem.html, corporate environmental management. bsi-entropy.com/solutions/by-standards/environmental-management. btu.se/tks/mist_eng.nsf, Blicking Institute of Technology, C, and Corporate Environmental Management. ch2m.com/corporate/services/environmental_management_and_planning/default.asp. clarkson.edu/evmm/corp_part.php, environmental manufacturing management. esbenchmarking.org, environmental, health and safety benchmarking. mzel.com, environmental management, testing laboratory. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/chartered_institution_water_and_environmental_management, a British professional and examining body for scientists, engineers, other environmental professionals. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/department_of_environmental_management. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_management. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_management_scheme, manage your land in a manner sympathetic to the environment. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_management_system. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/environmental_risk_management_authority, a New Zealand government agency which controls the introduction of hazardous substances and new organisms. environment.solutions/corporate-compliance.htm. environmental-expert.com. erb.umich.edu. ere.energy.gov/industry/best practices/corporate_energy.html, corporate energy management. gemi.org, Global Environmental Management Initiative. greenbiz.com, free information resource for companies seeking to align environmental responsibility with business success. intellex.com, web-based system automates data tracking, reporting, and compliance. jyu.fi/econ/en/disciplines/environm, corporate environmental management. 1% for the planet.org, businesses donating 1% of their sales to the natural environment. qualitycoach.net, environmental management education DVD. reed-elsevier.com/media/pdf/s/environmental_management_system_2006.pdf. standardchartered.com/corporate responsibility/env_management.html. tui-group.com/en/concern/2e_Welt-management umich.edu/msjrnl/back-msj/111395/kemp.html. The environment management plans of some companies' websites. bankofamerica.com/environment exxonmobil.com/corporate/citizenship/ccr6/environmental_management.asp fedex.com/us/about/responsibility/environment.html ibm.com/ibm/environment/ems, IBM Global Environmental Management System nikken.co.jp/main/eng/portfolio/environment/plan/management sondisk.com/corporate/default.aspx?cat ID =1018 thus.net/aboutus/environment.shtml toshiba.co.jp/csr/en unisys.com/about_unisys/commitments/environmental_environmental_management.htm xantera.com/environmental-policies-management-374.html Xanterra Parks and Resorts, Environmental Policies and Management. Environmental Accountants Info. Governments and non-profits use environmental accountants to help them prove that the companies they are investigating are doing damage to the environment. Companies hire environmental accountants to help them prove that they have good environmental practices. Some companies hire environmental accountants so they can get information about what to do to be compliant with environmental laws. es.inl.gov/partners/ACCTG/ACCTG.html, Environmental Accounting Resource List. emawebsite.org Environmental Management Accounting. finance.monster.com/articles/environmental accounting. Environmental liability websites. abanit.org, Corporate Liability for Environmental Matters and Liability of Officers, Directors, and Shareholders. aegiseng.com/cella.html, Aegis Engineering Services, Corporate Environmental Liability. aegiseng.net/cella.html, Aegis Engineering Services, Corporate Environmental Liability. allbusiness.com, Concerns over environmental liability have taken their toll in the corporate world. argentco.com, Reducing the expense of environmental civil liability. battelle.org/environment/publications. bbiethanol.com, Protection against future environmental lawsuits. cat-alliance.com, Environmental due diligence if you are buying or selling a business. celldf.org, the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund. cm-p.com, Environmental Liability Lawyers. corporate.findlaw.com/industry/environmental. elliotsar.com/program.cfm, they do corporate risk management planning. elmrisktransfer.com, core businesses to provide corporate, private, and governmental the opportunity to remove environmental liabilities. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/corporate_liability. envirogen.com/markets/environmental liability.aspx. environmental-finance.com. fdjm-pc.com, Environmental Law Firm. findlaw.com, Corporate Liability for Environmental Performance. innovistgroup.com, Corporate Environmental Governance. interference.com/webstore/us/product/185811137.htm, Environmental Liability Issues for Corporate and Property Professionals. joegriffith.com/environmental-crimes.html, lawyers. jurispub.com/book/book.php?ID =8, managing environmental liability. keenmiller.com, lawyers, they do land use and wetlands loss, federal environmental liability. news.corporate.findlaw.com, papers.ssrn.com, article Taking It Personally, Shareholder Liability for Corporate Environmental Hazards. PremisesLiabilityLawyers.com, QualityCoach.net, Environmental Management DVD. rand.org/icj/pub/enviro.html, Rand Institute for Civil Justice, Publications, Environmental Liability. singerlaw.com/premises_liability.html, Iowa Lawyer. ssrn.com/abstract=3385221, Taking It Personally, Shareholder Liability for Corporate Environmental Hazards. trcSolutions.com/services/environmental/liability.html. WorleyParsons.com, Environmental Liability Assessment Group. Environmental Insurance. aclmite.com/aclmite-services/business+sign+sign-services/environmental+sign56.htm. aig.com, Insurance. AlliantInsurance.com/services/risk/corporate-isk/environmental/default.aspx. chaseagency.com, Pollution, Mold, Environmental Insurance. Financials. PECILT.com. global.marsh.com/industry/environmental/seal.php, Insurance. insurance.utia.org/small-business-environmental_liability_insurance.html. jltusa.net/environmental.html, Alliant Insurance Services, Environmental Liability. lowquotes.com. Chapter 3. Green Investing/Eco Investing. Socially Conscious Business/Investing Websites. Books about socially conscious investing are at number 332.600-678 or HG4900-HG5200 at the library. Business Ethics in General is at number 174 at the library. Try number 658.408 or HD 60-69 at the library for books about green corporations. aeip.com/ethics-f. ama.org/about/ama/fullth.asp. anti-slavery.org/oil. asce.org/membership/ethics. asyouso.org. bitrustee.org, Business Enterprise Trust. bizsurvey.com/ecn, Environmental Capital Network. bsr.org, Business for Social Responsibility. bsr.org, Business for Social Responsibility. businessethics.com. business-ethics.com. businessphilosophy.com. sepa.org, Social Accountability. series.org, Coalition for Environmentally Responsible Economies. cleanenvironment.com, 800-461-4570. cleanEIL.com, 800-809-6439. communitycapital.org. communityinvest.org. coopamerica.org, 858 Green. corpgov.net/news. corporatepredators.org. corpwatch.org, Watch Corporations. cudenver.edu/edhiclinks. eco-bank.com, 888-326-2265. ethicalge.com. eiris.org, Ethical Investment Research Services. es.inel.gov/index, EnviroSense. es.inel.gov/partners/ACCTG, Environmental Accounting Resource List. essential.org/monitor, Monitor Corporations. ethicalwill.com. ethics.ubc.ca/resources. ethicsandbusiness.org. ethicsinc.com. fairtradefederation.com. fjc.org. globalexchange.org/economy/coffee/retailers. globalexchange.org/ftzone, globalreporting.org, goodmoney.com, greenmoney.com, greenmoneyjournal.com, greenpages.org, icaa.org.au/icaa/centers/et.htm, socially conscious business practices, icaa.org/icaa/centers/et.htm, iccr.org, Interfaith Center on Corporate Responsibility, infact.org, irc.org, Investor Responsibility Research Center, kld.com, Domini 400 Social Index, KLD Research and Analytics, mcli.org, List of organizations, mjra-jsc.com, mjra-jsi.com, mothra.inc.com/extra/column/ethics, multinationalmonitor.org, Watch Corporations, nice.org/inform/pub/pgpequit, netfed.org, naturalbiz.com, naturalinvesting.com, naturalinvestor.com, nb.com, 800-877-9700, nclnet.org, National Consumers League, newsworld.cbc.ca/moral divide, newvillage.net, architects, designers, and planners for social responsibility, nlcnet.org/campaign, nisa.org, Social Investment Security Analysts, nisa.org, Social Investment Security Analysts, ppgmn.com, principalprofits.com, 800-972-3289, proxymonitor.com, relmoney.com, Co-op America, responsiblewealth.org, sbk.com, self-help.org, 800-966-SELF, Self-Help Credit Union, socialinvest.org, Social Investment Forum, sociallyresponsible.chittenden.com, 800-772-3863, Bank, srb.org, Responsible Business, srb.org, Students for Responsible Business, sristudies.org/index.html, sriworld.com, st-edmunds.cam.ac.uk/vhi, sustainablebusiness.com, svn.org, Social Venture Network, sweatshops.org, tbzweb.com/srinvest, uksif.org, UK, woccu.org/princep.htm, World Council of Credit Unions, workingassets.com, Affinity Credit Card, wri.org/wri/meb/mba-home, environmentally friendly MBA programs, ziclincenter.org, socially conscious mutual funds. Most of the big mutual fund companies have socially conscious mutual funds in their inventories. acuityfunds.com, 800-461-4570, calvertfoundation.org, 800-248-0337, mutual funds. calvertgroup.com, socially responsible mutual fund company. cebcglobal.org, citizensfunds.com, 800-223-7010, mutual funds. domini.com, 800-225-3863, mutual funds. ethicalfunds.com, fidelity.com, mutual funds. firstaffirmative.com, 800-422-7284, mutual funds. friendsivoryfunds.com, greencentury.com, 800-934-7336, mutual funds. newalternativesfund.com, 800-423-8383. parnassus.com, 800-999-3505. paxworldcapital.com, 800-229-1172. portfolio21.com, 877-351-4115. SierraClubFunds.com. ProgressiveAssetManagement.com, 800-786-2998. SocialFunds.com. TrilliumInvest.com, 800-548-5684, Trillium Asset Management. TriplePundit.com. TiroPrice.com. WinslowGreen.com, 888-314-9049. CalvertGroup.com. 800-368-2748. Social Index Fund. CitizensFunds.com. 800-223-7010. Domini.com. 800-582-6757. Social Bond Fund. Heartland Financial. 888-739-2100. HTLF.com. GreenCentury.com. 800-93-GREEN. PaxFund.com. 800-767-1729. PRENTISS-SMITH.com. 800-223-7851. ProgressiveInvestment.com. 877-211-0034. RisaFund.com. 800-441-7764. TrilliumInvest.com. 800-548-5684. 800-448-0974. WaldenAssetManagement.com. 877-7 Walden. Several social funds. Alternative energy / clean tech / green tech stocks. Alternative energy will take off at some point in time according to an episode of WealthTrack.com. Watch out for the hype. The pioneers often get clobbered trying to get going, then the Johnny-come-latelys clean up. There will be a lot of start UPS. Most will fail. A few will become giants. If somebody invents some machine where a small solar panel or windmill can power a big house off the grid, the market will be unlimited. Think of all the houses in India and China. Get a news alert for Invest, Alternative Energy, and if you read stories you like, invest in those companies after you research it more. Some of the oil companies will become big green tech companies. London Stock Exchange has the alternative investment market. There are a lot of clean tech companies on NYSE and Nasdaq, some on Amex. Refer to other sections in this book for more info about solar energy, wind energy, and biofuels. EnergyTechStocks.com. GreenTech.media.com. blogs.greentech.media.com/cleantechinvesting. These are all public traded companies as far as I know. If you want to discover more alternative energy companies, go to the big mutual fund companies like Fidelity.com, Schwab.com, and Vanguard.com, look for alternative energy mutual funds and look at their prospectuses. Abengoa-Bioenergy.com, European stock. ADMworld.com, Archer Daniels Midland. Altirenano.com. msuper.com. AppliedMaterials.com, solar. CellUNOL.com. Clipperwind.com, London Stock Exchange. ColorKinetics.com, light-emitting diodes. Comverge.com. Cree.com, LED lighting. Finavera.com, wave power. FPLenergy.com. Gamesa.es, Spain. GE.com. GM.com. GS.com, Goldman Sachs. IBM.com. MEMC.com, silicon wafers for solar panels. OceanPowerTechnologies.com. Ormati.com, geothermal. Ovonic.com. OxonICA.com, nanomaterials. PGEcorp.com, Pacific Gas and Electric. Siemens.com. usbioenergy.net. Verisun.com. Xethanol.com. Chapter 4. Green Eco-Conscious Business Websites. Environment business websites at cali.org/business/environment. Subcategories: Air quality, emergency management, environmental compliance, environmental health, environmental management systems, ISO 14000, environmental training, hazardous materials, industrial health and safety, mining, monitoring, sampling, and testing, noise and vibration control, spill containment and prevention, underground storage tanks, waste management, water resources, associations, conferences, consultants, employment, engineering, products and services, software. atcassociates.com, ATC Associates, Inc., provides industrial hygiene, environmental investigations and remediation, geotechnical engineering, construction materials testing, infrastructure engineering, laboratory analysis, and environmental training. BLR.com, BLR, Inc., Internet portal for environmental businesses, including news, training advice, online forums, and other information. BlueLakeProducts.com, Blue Lake Products, sells Atrix International vacuum cleaners, and safety supplies. CalcoApps.com, Calco Applications, a distributor of the Knocker line of products and Parker paints. CEVeritech.com, Svertech, treatment systems, engineering, application, and consulting. CSIEngineering.com, CSI Engineering, an engineering consulting firm specializing in industrial electrostatic precipitators. DandaEnvironmental.com, DNA Environmental Inc., offers site investigations, consulting work, soil and groundwater remediation, OSHA compliance audits, underground storage tank testing, non-destructive testing, tank removal API 653 above ground tank inspections, lead-based paint inspections and risk management, asbestos inspections and abatement, indoor air quality testing, water quality testing, and site characterization. ENVIRO-TUB.com, Canadian EnviroTub, extends the primary containment design by providing an innovative secondary containment enclosure. ENVIRO-FRIENDLY.com, Enviro-Friendly Products Thai Ltd, products including water tanks, grey water reuse systems, solar hot water systems, PV solar panels systems, hydronic and infrared heating. Enviroanalysis.com, Environmental Analysis Inc., a full-service national testing and consulting firm for chemical, microbiological, and environmental hazards. Envirograph.com, Envirograph Products, intumescent fire prevention products from Environmental Seals Ltd. Envirowise.rap.org.uk, Envirowise, free government-supported environmental consultation, advice, and documentation for UK businesses. ergapc.co.uk, ERG, Air Pollution Control, Ltd., UK. ESCSafety.com, Engineering Safety Consultants, Inc., safety program which controls accidents and reduces insurance cost. FireRiskAMGT.com, Fire Risk Management, Inc., a fire protection design and engineering, research, and consulting firm. FRONTIER-ENVIRONMENTAL.com, Frontier Environmental Solutions, specializes in designing and installing bat-friendly gates for caves and abandoned mines. GeoConsultantsLLC.com, GeoConsultants, LLC, an environmental services and geological engineering firm, created to serve clients with environmental, energy, and water supply needs including environmental and geological services, site remediation, environmental monitoring, health and safety, project and construction management, and groundwater engineering. Greenbiz.com, Greenbiz.com, a resource of environmental information, tools, and data aimed at the mainstream business community. GreensHift.com, GreenShift Corporation, business development company working with companies and technologies enabling the efficient use of natural resources, including alternative energy and waste management. GZA.com, GZA Geo-Environmental Technologies, Inc., provides environmental consulting, remediation and geotechnical services, including assessment and evaluation of contaminated sites and design, construction and operation of remediation systems. HertzWenv.com, HertzW Environmental Consultants, Inc., specialize in cost-effective environmental services to business, industry, and government. Lintech.com, Lintech, Inc., develops new technologies for clean energy production, air and water purification, food decontamination, and equipment sterilization. mbtechnicalservices.com, MB Technical Services, a full-service consulting firm that provides design, environmental and planning services to private industry, government agencies, and general contractors. MillerEnvironmentalInc.com, Miller Environmental Products, Inc., manufacturer of the Universal Liner, a liner for septic tanks and other concrete forms. MT2.com, MT2, LLC, an environmental technologies firm specializing in the treatment and remediation of heavy metals contamination throughout the U.S. and worldwide. netregs.org.uk, NetRegs, provides free environmental guidance for small and medium-sized businesses in the UK. Ozono.it, Ozono, industrial ozone generators and applications. PASEINC.com, PASE Incorporated, focuses its products, training, and consulting services on meeting the emergency public information and crisis communication needs of corporate, government, and non-profit sector clients. PlaygroundsAFADyExpert.com, Thompson & Associates, provides consulting, design and construction, as well as injury investigation and site analysis, for public and private agencies' playgrounds. PrexHETmetal.com, precision sheet metal, custom industrial air handling solutions for dust, mist, and smoke collection. RainSafe.com, RainSafe, Inc., dedicated to safety products, currently focused on an automatic umbrella sleeve to promote building safety during bad weather. RamProds.com, Ram Products Limited, develops innovative solutions which address health, environment, and safety issues. RestAssured.com, Rest Assured Personal Inspection Light, detects hidden germs and bacteria. SafetyCleanEurope.com, Safety Clean, delivering a range of machine services and waste collection services centered on recycling or reuse. SirPhoenix.com, SirPhoenix, Inc., offers EPA-mandated monthly leak detection monitoring of underground storage tanks based on the Statistical Inventory Reconciliation (SIR) model. SNCLavalin.com, SNCLavalin Environment Inc., offers consulting services in sciences and environmental engineering. Stratfords.com, Stratfords Ltd., suppliers of personnel protection and safety equipment for all industries and working environments. The-NCEC.com, the National Chemical Emergency Center, products and services for chemical manufacturers, traders and distributors to assist with manufacture and distribution of hazardous products and to be prepared for any emergency. VersaR.com, Versar, Inc., develop environmentally impaired sites for reuse. Eco-business websites / green business websites. Sustainable is not just about the environment. It's about what the business does. Selling guns, tobacco, alcohol, porn, because they say it causes slave labor, means you're not sustainable. Sustainablebusiness.org offers a seal of approval to good businesses. Sustainablebusiness.com. Greenbiz.com. Look some of these websites over to get a feel for the particular demographic of company who actively say they try to help the environment by making things from natural organic materials like clothing from hemp or supporting causes with their funds. GEMI.org, Global Environmental Management Initiative, non-profit organization of 27 multinational corporations helping business to achieve environmental excellence. domish.edu/npub/resources/reslists/indechdml, NPPC Industrial Ecology Resource List. Greenbiz.com businessgreen.com coopamerica.org/greenbusiness/cloveapproval.cfm, Green Business Network. greenrankings.newsweek.com, rankings of companies. epa.gov/performance track, EPA analyzes some companies for how green they are. iisd.org, International Institute for Sustainable Development. ecobusinesslinks.com. allbusiness.com/ecology. socialentrepreneurship.change.org, redkeeklany.com. sustainablegroup.net. environment.harvard.edu. greenguardian.com. greenzeal.org. coopamerica.org/greenbusiness/network.cfm, Co-op America Business Network. usagreen.org, American Evergreen Foundation. sustainablebusiness.com, ecobusinesslinks.com. greenjobs.com. greenbiz.com, eair.energy.gov/buildings/high performance, the U.S. Department of Energy High Performance Buildings. AIAtop10.org, American Institute of Architects Top 10 Green Projects. thegbuy.org, the Green Building Initiative. epa.gov/wastewise. sustainableagon.net. sustainablebusiness.org. greenbizleaders.com. epa.gov/greenpower. epa.gov/wastewise. greenbiz.ca.gov, the Bay Area Green Business Program. ciwmh.ca.gov/RAP, California's Waste Reduction Awards Program. greeningindia.net. onagreen.globe.com/sustainable_living/industrial_ecology, the Eco Green Directory for Sustainability and Natural Health. greenkeyglobal.com, the Green Key Eco Rating Program is a graduated rating system. sustainablebusiness.com. greenbiz.com, comprehensive resource center on business and the environment. environmentaldirectory.net, National Environmental Directory. A directory of more than 13,000 organizations concerned with environmental issues and environmental education. ecobusinesslinks.com. greenbiz.com, daily news on green business. rrfb.com, 877-313 RRFB, Recycle at Work. farazzigreenlight.com, the Impact Network brings together business, social, political and thought leaders for weekend journeys into the challenges facing the world. zerofootprint.com. meetgreen.com, green meetings. green.guide.online.fr. blr.com, business and legal reports, Inc. jgpress.com/nbuscene.htm, in business, magazine for sustainable enterprises and communities. smallbiz-enviroweb.org. greenerdesign.com, news on businesses incorporating sustainable design practices. marketinggreen.com. sijournal.com, Sustainable Industries Journal. aaienvcorp.com, environmental site assessment. mondaq.com, environmental due diligence. environmental-expert.com. greenbiz.com. eurotechnology.com/green/index.html. Natural Home. 201 East 4th St. Loveland, Colorado 80537. 800-340-5846. naturalhomemagazine.com. ecomall.com. epa.gov, Environmental Protection Agency. 1800cleanup.org. 2010products.com, cleaning products. a2la.org, American Association of Lab Accreditation, list of lab testing companies. abundanteearth.com. advancedenergy.org. aehf.com, 800-428-2343, American Environmental Health Foundation, sells various products. aeroscopic.com, 800-346-4642, air filters. aerotechlabs.com, 800-651-4802, testing. afmsafecode.com, paint. afsfoil.com, 800-421-5947, air barrier. aimsafety.com, 800-275-4246, alarms to detect carbon monoxide. aerox.com, air filters. airforlife.com, 877-331-8286, air filters. airkontirol.com, air filters. allensnaturally.com, 800-352-8971, cleansers. allergyreliefshop.com, 800-626-2810. amana-hac.com, 877-254-4729, airtight furnaces. andersonlaboratories.com, product testing. apothecure.com, 800-969-6601, cleaning products. aqs.com, air quality testing. aubrey-organics.com, 800-282-7394. austinair.com, 800-724-8403, air filters. bartlettdesigns.com, how to unclutter a house. bau-biologieUSA.com, course about making a healthy home. bbjenviro.com, 800-889-2251, air conditioner cleaner. betterbasics.com. betterworld.com. bioguard.com, 800-859-7946, swimming pool cleaning. biowash.com, 800-858-5011, Canada. burc.org, low toxic pest control. blueearthresearch.com, furnace filters. bpa.gov, 800-282-3713, energy information. brone.com, 800-558-1711, central vacuum cleaners. bscarbons.com, 800-886-2272, absorption filters. buildingforhealth.com, 800-292-4838. buildinggreen.com, environmental building news. burnham.com, airtight boilers. kenfiber.com, 888-355-4733, fiberboard. carpet-rug.com, 800-882-8846. Caraschem.com, 800-435-6856, absorption products. Semplank.com, 888-327-0723, water-resistant particle board. Certifiedwood.org. Chemrex.com, 800-433-9517, low-toxic products. Clarisproducts.com, 800-425-2787. Cleanproduce.com, vegetable cleaning machine. colchem.com, 800-667-5001, natural fiber carpet. Colandi.com, filters. Conservation.org. Convenienceproducts.com, 800-325-6180. Korean.com, 800-426-7426, countertops. cougorganic.com. Custombuildingproducts.com, 800-895-2874. Cutkati.com, 800-497-9516, filters, testing equipment. dennywholesale.com, 800-327-6616. designecology.com. dowcorning.com, 800-248-2481, silicone products. dowsers.org, 800-711-9530, people who look for water through holistic means. dulwichhealth.co.uk, geopathic zones. DuPont.com, 800-44 TVEC. Durodyne.com, 800-899-3876, air filters. DwyerKitchens.com, 800-348-8508, cabinets. DynamicAirCleaners.com. DynamicFastener.com, 800-821-5448, fasteners. EarthTimes.org. EarthWeave.com, carpets. ECBOnline.com. ECO.org. EcoBuildings.net. ECEverest.com, 800-483-6337, forest products. EcoHouse.com. Ecology.com. Ecomall.com. Econists.com. Ecoproducts.com. Ecos.com, 888-281-3524, cleaning products. Ecover.com, 800-449-4925, safe household cleaning products. Ecobuild.com. edcmag.com, environmental design and construction. eebia.org, energy efficient home. efi.org, 800-876-0660, energy saving products. ehw.org, environmental health watch. elmers.com, 800-426-7336, glue. emagazine.com. energybuilder.com. energyconservatory.com. energykinetics.com, 800-323-2066. enn.com. enviresource.com, 800-281-9785. envirocare.com. envirolink.org. enviromaster.com. environmentalchoice.com, 800-478-0399. environproducts.com, 800-238-5008. epa.gov, environmental protection. epa.gov/epows/wer/has waste. espsb.com, 888-655-3772, cleaning products. firstalert.com, smoke detectors. flexibleproducts.com, 800-366-4740. floodco.com, 800-321-3444, wood sealer. flowersociety.org, 800-736-9222. fnaturalhomes.com. futurebiotics.com. GaiaM.com. Gossmeter.com, 800-775-2550. general-ecology.com, 800-441-8166. generalfilters.com. geometryact.com, geopathic zones. geomancy.org, geopathic stress of the land. geo.org/dows1.htm, geopathic survey of home. greenbuilder.com, eco homes. greenmarket.com. greenmarketplace.com. greenmountain.com. greenpeace.org. greenzeal.org, safe products. h3environmental.com. healthhouse.org. healthycabinets.com. healthyhome.com. healthy-homes.com. healthhouse.org. healthyeverything.com. healthyhome.com, 800-583-9523. healthyhomebuilder.com. healthyhomeinteriors.com. healthyhouses.com, 800-541-9185. heartlandnatural.com, 888-772-2345. hhinsd.com, Healthy House Institute. homeazote.com, 800-257-9491, carpet underlay. homespunfabrics.com. honeywell.com, 800-554-4558, furnace products. hubbell-ltg.com, 800-270-3000, 3737, lighting. Hydrocoat.com, 800-229-4937, wood sealer. Hydrotherm.com, airtight furnaces. iaqpubs.com, 800-394-0115, books. ibuydifferent.org. indikaahmed.com, furniture. ioa.com/shelter ecology. isabierdenenterprises.com, fiberboard. jameshardy.com, 800-426-4051, building CO. janices.com, 800-526-4237, organic bedding. jhbaxter.com, 800-780-7073, treated wood. junkershardwood.com, 800-878-9663. jwa.com, 800-493-6686, hygrometers. kkcottonpillows.com, 800-544-3752. latacrete.com, backer board. leadcheck.com, 800-262-5323. leahywolf.com, 888-873-5327. lessemf.com, 888-less-EMF, less electromagnetic fields in your home. livingzource.com, 800-662-8787. mcsrr.org, 800-466-9320. meadowwoodindustries.com, straw board. mpdplastics.com. monksguard.dk, books. moorcowall.com, 800-446-7124, wall products. nadai.com, 800-387-4219, gas alarms. nationalgypsum.com, 800-628-4662. naturalcork.com, 800-404-2675. naturalhomeproducts.com. natural-lifestyle.com, 800-752-2775. naturescarpet.com. naturesrest.com. needs.com, 800-634-1380. needs4u.com, needs.com, 800-634-1380, natural products. nefweb.com, 800-268-4527, cabinets, Canada. neighbornets.org, grassroots. neo-metro.com, 800-591-9050, acorn engineering. nilfisk-advance.com, 800-645-3475, vacuum cleaners. nontoxic.com, 800-968-9355, 925-472-8868. oconinc.com, 800-237-0565, wood sealer. olgrowth.com, wood sealer. organiclean.com, see service at organiclean.com, 888 Vegwash, vegetable cleaning machine. odtbiolite.com, 800-234-3724, BioLite Systems. pastechamusa.com, sealant. palmerindustriesinc.com, 800-545-7383. permachink.com, 800-548-3554, wood sealer. afenoseal.com, 800-343-4963 sealer. planetearth.com. pollutionprobe.org. positive-energy.com, 800-488-4340, energy products. powerbond.com, 800-248-2878, natural fiber carpet. professionalequipment.com, 800-334-9291, testing equipment. porafil.com, absorption material. puriersystems.com, 800-869-8025, air filters. QGinc.com, 800-432-5599, carbon monoxide detectors. Radon.com, 800-247-2435, radon test. Radoncontrol.com, 800-523-2084. RadonPDS.com. Realgoods.com, 800-762-7325. RioProducts.com. Schofield.com, 800-222-4100. SCS1.com, 800-EcoFact. SelkerQSA.com, Eco-Fireplaces. 7thGen.com, recycle at 7thGen.com. SierraPine.com, 800-676-3339, fiberboard. SMArtwood.org. SolarLiving.org. Southface.org, Energy Institute. SSBCO.org, 800-523-9992, soil stabilization products. StabilizersOLUTIONS.com, 800-336-2468. Starbronze.com, 800-321-9870, wood finishes. StateIND.com, 800-365-5793, furnaces. Sweetgrassfibers.com. TerraVerde.com. Treatedwood.com, 800-421-8661. VeggieWash.com, 800-259-7006, vegetable cleaning machine. VTSoap.com. Wagero.com, 800-558-6868, carbon monoxide detectors. Wailani.com, swimming pool cleaners. Waterfurnace.com, 800-934-5667. Weatherboss.com, 800-664-3978. WIRSBO.com, 800-321-4739, plumbing products. Witpress.com, books. XYPEX.com, 800-961-4477. Zinsser.com, vapor barrier sealer. Canadian eco-business websites. ecojustice.ca. ethics.ubc.ca/resources. newsworld.cbc.ca/moral divide. geoland.ca, books. healthyhomes.ca. oeha.ca/gov/air, environmental health hazard assessment. Chapter 5. A Business Recycling Guide. Recycling in business/waste recycling. Recycling in business could make you a profit if you can find another use for your waste products or sell them to a recycler who will sell them to people, Asian companies, who will use them to manufacture other things. The idea is to find another use for your waste products rather than throw it away. There are several ways to do this. 1. Call a professional recycling consultant to come to your business site, look over your trash, then recommend what you can do with it besides throw it in the dump. There are private companies around called recycling or waste consultants, and most governments nowadays have a recycling office where the people there might be able to help you with recycling methods. 2. There are recycling companies around who will take your trash away, separate it, then sell it to big companies who buy the stuff and use it to make new stuff. At one time, these recycling companies paid for other people's trash, but because of the economic downturn some are charging a fee just to take it away. In either case, it's better to recycle than to throw stuff away. It might not cost any more than the junkman charges. In any case, there are recycling laws coming onto the books in a lot of areas ordering businesses to recycle their trash. ecoiq.com/online resources/center/recycling/bus.html, waste and recycling, business associations. Links. allbusiness.com/recycling. apple.com/environment. awarenessideas.com. business.com/directory/energy_and_environment/recycling. businessinformationgroup.ca/environmental/swr.asp, solid waste and recycling magazine. carolinailsr.org/recycling/recycling means business.html. charmck.org/departments/louisa/solid+waste/business+recycling/home.htm. cupertino.org/inc/government/html/business_recycling.html. ecospeakers.com, waste and recycling business associations. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/business_waste. energiesavayingbusiness.com. epa.gov/rigitgrnj/waste/solid waste/recycling_business_community.htm, solid waste recycling for business and communities. grn.com, Global Recycling Network. gvrd.bc.ca/recycling and garbage/business services.htm. hounslow.gov.uk/index/business/trade_the_workplace.htm. ilsr.org/recycling/recycling means business.html. jgpress.com, Journal of Composting and Organics Recycling, in Business. kansasbyrp.com, Kansas Recycling Program. lessismre.org/program/bsnss_recycling_complete.html. kingcounty.gov/solid waste/business. mass.gov/dep/recycle/reduce/assistant.htm. mcdf.org/busrec.pdf, McHenry County Business Recycling Guide. nmrecycle.org, New Mexico Recycling Coalition. sbsabusinessrecycling.com. in.gov/recycle/who/business.html. nyc.gov/html/New York Wasteless/html/in_business/in_business.shtml, wasteless in business. nyc.gov/html/New York Wasteless/html/recycling/recycling_businesses.shtml, all New York City businesses are required to recycle. ocrra.org/recycling_businesses.asp. recycle-more.co.uk. recyclenow.org. dep.state.pa.us/dep/utate/airwaste/wm/recycle/facts/benefits6.htm. batteryrecycling.com/business.html, battery recycling procedures for business. guren.org/zero-waste/business, grassroots. recyclenow.org, Sonoma County's Recycling Guide. recycleworks.org/business/byrec.html. recyclingbusinessbook.com. recyclingtoday.com, business magazine for recycling professionals. splanex.com, waste recycling. state.nj.us/dep/dshw/recycle/brbn03.htm. statewide, non-profit organization that helps companies reduce and recycle non-hazardous solid waste. sustainablebusiness.com. tfcrecycling.com/business. waste.ky.gov/recycling. wasteawarabusiness.org.uk. wasteawarabusiness.org.uk, advice on how to reduce, reuse and recycle. wastecap.org, WasteCap of Massachusetts. waste-not.com. wasterecycling.org.uk. wm.com, waste management. wm.com/wm/services/recycling.asp, waste management, services, recycling. wmcanada.com/greensquad.asp, Green Squad waste audits. Recycling info. recycle.net. recycle.org. raymond.com/subscribe, recycling. adm.uwaterloo.ca/infowast, University of Waterloo. adm.uwaterloo.ca/info/watt-green, University of Waterloo Watt-Green. Axianet.com/URT, Urban Resource Technologies Inc., technology that will turn post-consumer waste material into a multi-purpose end product. BIR.org, Bureau of International Recycling. CBOT-recycle.com, CBOT Recyclables Exchange, find buyers and sellers for recycled products. Cobra.esxf.uwindsor.ca/ecdm_lab.html, University of Windsor Environmentally Conscious Design and Manufacturing Lab. dnai.com/tilde/antares/vv/vv.html, Vital Visions Manufacturing, manufactures fiberglass containers for home and commercial recycling systems. earthcycle.com/nmen, National Materials Exchange Network, a free recycling marketplace. Fach Hochschule Braunschweig/Wolfenbüttel. fh-wolfenbuttel.de/fb/p/re, Institute for Recycling. grn.com, Global Recycling Network. interpublish.com/rwt, RW Technology Inc., a research and engineering firm in the design and implementation of rubber waste recycling systems. isd.net/cpm/swplan.html, Recycling Insights, software for solid waste and recycling industries. moreisnv.com/recycle.html, Recycling Options, Inc. nrc-recycle.org. obviously.com/recycle, the consumer recycling resources page. plasticbag.com, Plastic Bag Association's environmental educational resource. portal.ca/RD Smith, Talking Trash, current issues in solid waste management, packaging and the environment. primenet.com/erh.html, environmental recycling hotline. Printer ribbon and cartridge recycling. raymond.com/recycle, state recycling laws update newsletter. recycle.net/recycle, Resellers World. recycle.net/recycle/associations/rs000103.html, Institute of Scrap Recycling Industries. recycle.net/recycle/rnet/re_fp.html, Recyclers Exchange. recycle.net/recycle/rnet/rnetindex.html, RecycleNet, a network of commissioned sales agents in the recycling industry. recycle.net/recycle/trade. recycle.net/recycle/trade/rs000890.html, Rubber Brokers of Canada Inc. recyclewithus.org, Northeast Resource Recovery Association. recyclewithus.org, Northeast Resource Recovery Association. reman.rit.edu, National Center for Remanufacturing and Resource Recovery. reman.rit.edu, National Center for Remanufacturing and Resource Recovery. stanford.edu/group/physics/paper.html, Stanford. techweb.com/recycle/rwcont.htm, Recycling World Magazine, Europe's magazine for commercial recyclers. the-matrix.com/kmac, KMAC Services, Waste Recovery, Material Handling, Recycling. traders-market.com, Used Materials Industry and the Used Equipment Industry. traders-market.com/usre0001.htm, Reclaim Inc., Recycling Roofs to Repair Roads. usa.net/ca/casual.html, Casual Access Group. Using recycled paper. Waste Management. watech.com, electronics recycling company specializing in recovery and reuse of all materials from electronics equipment. web.apc.org/rco, the Recycling Council of Ontario. webcom.com/tilde-infoservice/customer/nora/welcome.html, National Oil Recyclers Association. Automotive Dismantlers and Recyclers Association. 10400 Eden Place, Fairfax, Virginia 22030-2208. Canadian Association of Recycling Industries. Number 502. 50 Gervais St. Don Mills, on M3C1Z3. 416-510-1244. Fax, 416-510-1248. Center for Plastics Recycling Research. Building 3529. Bush Campus, Rutgers. Piscataway, New Jersey 08855-1179. Institute of Scrap Recycling Industries. 1325 G St. N.W. Number 1000. Washington, D.C. 20005. 202-466-4050. National Association for Plastic Container Recovery. 4828 Parkway Plaza Boulevard. Number 260. Charlotte, North Carolina 28217. National Recycling Coalition. 1101 30th St. Northwest. Number 305. Washington, D.C. 20007. 202-625-6406. Plastic Recycling Monthly. POG 10540. Portland, Oregon 97210. 503-227-1319. Recycling Today Monthly. GIE Publishing. 4012 Bridge Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio 44113. 216-961-4130. Resource Recycling Monthly. Bottle and Can Recycling Monthly. Plastic Recycling Monthly. POG 10540. Portland, Oregon 97210. 503-227-1319. Scrap Age Magazine. Number 3615. 111 Woodhead Drive, Northbrook, Illinois 60062. Scrap Tire News. Recycling Research, Inc. 133 MTN. RD. Suffield, Connecticut 06078. nrc-recycle.org. Steel Can Recycling Institute. Foster Plaza 10. 680 Anderson Drive, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 15220.